Good. Happy Sunday morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this special edition right here on the Riley King Network, 15th anniversary of remembering 9/11. Let's get started. Timeline of events of 9/11. Let's take a look at the video.
September 11th, 2001. A day of grief. A day of courage. This is how that day unfolded.
My daughter called me. She said, plane just flew into the World Trade Center. I said, nah, you gotta be kidding me. It's gotta be a Piper Cub or some clown was flying down the river.
At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 from Boston, with 92 aboard, traveling at a speed of 470 miles per hour, strikes the North Tower of the World Trade Center complex. Within minutes, officials coordinate the citywide emergency response. Their base of operations is a state-of-the-art command center located on the 23rd floor of 7 World Trade Center. With one tower in flames, the tragedy is only beginning. It is 9:03 when United Airlines Flight 175, with 65 aboard, traveling at the speed of 590 miles per hour, smashes into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. This aircraft strikes the corner of the South Tower. It rips a diagonally shaped gash from the 84th to the 78th floors. The South Tower lasts only 56 minutes before it succumbs at 9:59 a.m. The dust cloud billows outward for blocks. Victims stagger away. At 10:28, the television mast atop the North Tower spears straight down.
Once the collapse started, there really wasn't any way to stop it. It was just going to go all the way down once it got started.
Chaos in New York City. Power is down in Lower Manhattan. Phone lines jammed with more than 230 million calls. Hundreds of firefighters trapped in the towers. Hundreds more race to the scene. Falling debris from the collapse of the North and South Towers ignites fires in the neighboring buildings of the World Trade Center. World Trade 4, 5, and 6 are ablaze. World Trade 7, the building housing the city's command center, burns unchecked for 7 hours. At 5:20, it collapses. The city's emergency nerve center is destroyed.
Somewhere in that time, and it's very hard to keep track of time during this, they had been ordered to evacuate number 7 by the Port Authority. To this day, we don't know who gave that order, but whoever it was saved a lot of people's lives.
With New York a war zone, some residents walk across the Brooklyn Bridge to get out of the city. Others seek escape in vessels piloted by the Army Corps of Engineers. At 7:45 p.m., the New York Police Department says 78 officers are missing and estimates that 200 firefighters are dead. At 10:56 p.m., police officials say they believe there are victims alive in the rubble of the World Trade Center.
Working with urban search and rescue teams, there was a lot of areas to be searched underneath the debris field. There were voids that had to be searched for possible live people.
September 11th, 2001, the longest and most tragic day in New York's history, is drawing to a close.
And that was a look at the timeline of events that happened on that day. President Obama to mark 15th anniversary of 9/11 attacks at the Pentagon. President Obama plans to visit the Pentagon today to memorialize the 15th anniversary of September 11 terrorist attacks. Prior to his departure, Obama will privately observe a moment of silence inside the White House residence to make the occasion, as flags across the nation fly at half-staff in remembering of the victims of 9/11. According to the White House Defense Secretary Ash Carter and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Jen Joseph Dunford, will also attend the ceremony at the Pentagon, where more than 180 people were killed after al-Qaeda terrorists crashed a jetliner into the building during the string of attacks. And remarks there in 2014, Obama remembered the more than 3,000 people killed in the terror attacks, along with those who served in America's combat mission in Afghanistan, saying, "As America, we draw strength for you." In New York, meanwhile, victims, relatives, and others will convene Sunday on the Memorial Plaza for one of the constituents in how America remembers 9/11 after 15 years, the anniversary ceremony itself. Organizers have planned some additional music and readings to mark the milestone year, but they are keeping close to what are now traditions, moments of silence and tolling bells, and apolitic atmosphere, and the hour Salome reading of names of the dead. Ground Zero has become a rebuilt World Trade Center, a place forever marked, but radically changed since September 11, 2001. The nation around it is different, too. Remembering 9/11 New Hampshire victims. Let's take a listen to the video.
Tom McGinnis from Portsmouth was the co-pilot of American Airlines Flight 11, which crashed into the North Tower. The captain of Flight 11 was John Oganowski, an Air Force veteran. And Madeline Amy Sweeney was a flight attendant. The Nashua High School graduate was able to call a ground supervisor by airphone to tell them about the hijackers before the crash. Thelma Cuccinello of Wilmot was a passenger on the flight. She was on her way to visit her sister in California. Also on board, 48-year-old Charles Jones, an Air Force veteran and the manager of space programs at BAE Systems. David Kowalson was also on the plane. He lived in Hudson with his wife and their 15-month-old and 4-year-old daughters. He worked at Raytheon. Douglas Stone from Dover was on the flight for business and to help his son settle in for freshman year at UCLA. Carol Fleizik lived in Plastow with her partner of 12 years and flew out on business that morning. Carl Max Hammond moved to Derry a few months before he boarded Flight 175. He had a doctorate in physics. Robert LeBlanc was also on Flight 175. He was a geography professor at UNH and loved to travel the world. 59-year-old Louis Neil Mariani of Derry was traveling on the plane to get to his stepdaughter's wedding, which went on in his honor. Kathleen and Michael Shearer were on Flight 175 together. They were married 39 years and had built their dream home in Dover. Kathy Bantis was in the World Trade Center, where she worked. She graduated from Central High School in Manchester in 1975.
Okay, those are the victims that have ties to New Hampshire. Schedule of events in the Granite State to mark the 15th anniversary of 9/11. In Boscawen, 100 Nights of Remembrance, Sunday, New Hampshire State Veterans Cemetery at 6 p.m. In Concord, Fallen Fighter Memorial, Monday, New Hampshire Fire Academy at 9:50 a.m. In Henniker, September 11 Remembrance Ceremony, Sunday, New England College at 11:30 a.m. In Hudson, 9/11 Observance, Sunday, Benson Park at 6:30 p.m. In Jackson, American We Support Your Freedom Walk, Sunday, Jackson Covered Bridge at 5 p.m. In Manchester, New Hampshire 9/11 Stair Climb, Sunday, Brady Sullivan Plaza. Climbers should arrive by 7 a.m. Event begins at 9 a.m. In Merrimack, Candlelight Vigil, Sunday, Abbey Griffin Park at 7 p.m. In Portsmouth, Portsmouth Police Department, Sunday, Portsmouth Police Department at 8:46 a.m. In Rindge, Remember to Remember, September 11, Sunday, Cathedral of the Pines at 8:45 a.m. and then at 1 p.m. In Tilton, 9/11 Observance, Sunday, New Hampshire Veterans Home at 11 a.m. And now let's show you some footage of the events happening at the memorial ceremony in New York City. Let's take a listen in.
Timothy Anil Sahilram Baharvani.
Bella J. Buchan. Alexander Belfield.
William G. Biggert.
Brian Eugene Bilcher.
Mark Bingham.
Carl Vincent Beanie.
And my loving cousin, Howard G. Gelling Jr., who I know I speak for my entire family, who hasn't been down here, but we love you and we miss you every day.
And my brother, James Brian Riley. Jim, we love you, we miss you, we thank you for all of the great times that we shared. You truly were...
And that's a little bit of
For a shining star in our family.
Happening in the memorial in New York City today. Now let's read some viewer comments. Some viewers wrote in and told us what they remember about the day. My mom said we were in California for Ryan's wedding. We had just flown the day before. Scary to think we could have been on one of those flights. I remember lying in our hotel bed around 6 o'clock a.m. Dad had the TV on to watch the stock market open. When we saw the second plane fly through the tower, it was a very scary feeling and such a sad memory. We will always pray for all the families affected. And one of my coworkers from work, Joe, said he was in 6th grade math class, and around 1 p.m. we heard the announcement over the loudspeaker. We had an early release. I remember walking home and seeing the television on WCVB News as my entire family watched it happen live. I made it home to unfortunately see the second plane hit live into the second and last tower.